I'm at Disney's Contemporary Resort here on Walt Disney World property, and it was one of the first resorts to open when it opened in 1971. It was one of their first steps into the resort industry, and along with it came a step into the convention industry. That's not uncommon. A lot of hotels have convention spaces for all sorts of business events, things like that. In 1992, however, they took their first steps into hosting conventions with the first official Disneyana convention. Now, Disneyana, that's where Disney fans get together and they buy and sell and trade Disney memorabilia. Another thing that was going on in the early 90s was the rise and popularization of comic book and sci-fi conventions. Those two had been around for a long time, but with the 80s and 90s, they just started to grow and grow and grow. And in the mid-90s, Disney was at a point where they decided if it was making money, they can get involved in it. So they decided they were going to host the very first Disney sci-fi convention, and it was called Contact 96. Now, as far as what they did at the convention, it was pretty run-of-the-mill. They got Leonard Nimoy to show up, Kevin Anderson, a couple of names, the robot from the original Lost in Space was there. It wasn't a Disney sci-fi convention, it was just a sci-fi convention by Disney. They announced packages for the convention at $596 per package. You could stay at the Contemporary and you could go to all 4 days of the event, which took place in January. As the story goes, when that was first announced, only 20 people signed up for it. Now, this was Disney in the mid-90s, and pretty much everything they were doing at that time was popular, so for only 20 people to sign up, that's unheard of. If you didn't want to stay at the Contemporary, that was fine as well. You could just get a normal pass, and that was $96 for 4 days. Today, $96 for 4 days, that's not too bad. But in the mid-90s, and in Orlando specifically, that was kind of bad. The average sci-fi convention, which ran over a weekend, was only about $30. So here's Disney running an event that isn't particularly special or different, but charging over 3 times as much for entry. So it's no surprise there really wasn't a lot of interest in it. When Sentinel reached out to Disney and they wanted to confirm the whole 20-person number, Disney said it was over 20, but less than what they were expecting. So Disney, facing this event that really wasn't living up to the hype, had to shorten it from 4 days to 1 day. They moved it from the Contemporary over to Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom, dropped the price down to $27, and they included entry into the park so you can go on rides and do all sorts of fun stuff. It actually became a pretty good deal. Unfortunately, it was too little, too late. January rolled around and the event happened, and it was, by all accounts, uneventful. It was fine, it went well, but they only had about 250 people showing up when they were really hoping for 800 to 1,000. It was a lesson they learned, which they would learn many times that decade, which is that sometimes just slapping the Disney name on it isn't enough.